Since the conception of mathematics, we as a species have used problems and algorithms to model the world in which we interact in. As such, there exists a problem to model our problems, P versus NP. At the early age of computing, there existed problems that were fairly easy for computers to solve, such as searching for objects or sorting objects or multiplying together integers. However, problems such as prime factorization, Hamilton paths, or residency matching would often prove difficult for early computers to solve. So what is P versus NP? P represents all problems which can be solved in polynomial time. In layman's terms, the speed of a computer finding a solution depends on the size of the input alone, and results in solutions being found quickly. P problems, such as sorting, are easy to do and easy to check. As polynomials increase in size, the time complexity that they represent becomes much slower and slower and slower, before eventually it reaches an exponential point, which represents one of the slowest possible time complexities. NP represents problems which cannot be solved in polynomial time, but can instead be verified in polynomial time. What this means is, given a list of solutions, the correct solution can be found relatively quickly. NP is hard to solve, but easy to check. One example of an NP problem is prime factorization, where a small number is easy to factorize, but a large number is harder to factorize. However, given the factors, it is easy to check if they are correct. The Cook-Levin theorem is the origin of the P versus NP problem. It conveys the idea of NP completeness, which are NP problems that can be reduced or converted in polynomial time, essentially relating them by their hard parts. This means that problems distinct as efficient scheduling, prime factorization, Sudoku, and even Super Mario Bros. All share a commonality in how challenging they are to computers. That also means that if an efficient algorithm was found for prime factorization, that same concept could be applied to all problems deemed NP complete, thus collapsing the entire stack and making all such problems in P, since P is a subset of NP. This is the heart of the problem, and the fact that solving only one of these problems could answer the question of P equaling NP has been driving mathematicians and computer scientists mad since the theorem's publication. The implications of solving whether P is equal to NP can be profound, as it is applicable to a multitude of fields. One example would be protein folding, an NP-complete problem, as the sheer computational requirements are enormous. Due to this complexity, traditional algorithms often take weeks to months to predict the structure of even a singular small protein, and likewise aren't accurate due to a lack of computing power. If we do determine that P is equal to NP, it would allow us to solve an abundance of problems, from efficient vehicle routing, matching residents to their desired hospitals, and possibly even a cure for cancer. However, systems that heavily rely on the challenge of NP-complete problems, such as encryption, would suddenly become vulnerable almost immediately. Despite the amount of good that would come from P being equal to NP, most in the industry are not convinced that such is true. The number of problems in NP that don't have a clear answer indicates that no matter how many clever methods we may come up with, some problems are just inherently challenging for computers. But hey, that won't ever stop us from trying. As Scott Aronson ponders, which breakthroughs should we seek next? What's on the current horizon?